Hello guys, and welcome to the second video. Oh, no, I want that visible. Let's open this up. And that's, there we go. Okay. Hello and welcome to the second video of the Getting Started Guide to Final Fantasy XIV. Or, not the Getting Started Guide, but the New Player's Guide. Boop. Hello. I'm gonna hide my chat this time and have the DPS meter there. You don't really need that as a new player. This is just to show you how much damage potentially that you could be doing. Possibly more, possibly less. I'm not a super endgame gamer here, so I want to go into not only one of the starting classes, warrior, but I also want to go into tanking tips in general. So I want to go somewhere. Do I want to stay here? Debating whether to stay here or not. You know what, we'll change the scene. We'll change the scenery up every now and then. Okay, so tanking. I don't want this song to play while I'm trying to do this, so maybe we can toss on something else. Let's lower it to the something nice and we'll stay with Xenoblade 2. Argenum. I think that's gonna distract me. Hold on. Maybe we'll go here. P5. Alright, we'll go with that. So then I'll repeat. And quiet it down a bit. Okay, so let's go into general tanking tips here. So once again, I'm doing this new player's guide thing because I've noticed that there's a lot of new players jumping into the game, especially when FanFest finished up last weekend. So I want to go into I want to introduce what I know to people out there that want to play the game and stuff. Now, tanking is one of the 3 roles. Well, I guess 4, 5 roles technically, but for the combat classes, there's healer, which I main healer, tanking, and DPSing, and each of them have their own jobs associated to them. There's technically 3 healers, 4 tanks, and all these DPS. Those are the ones that I have leveled and what I normally play, so. Anyway, tanking. Tanking 101 is, every tank has a tank stance. So for warrior, it's Defiance. For paladin, the 2 starting jobs, Shield Oath or Iron Will. For Dark Knight, you'll unlock this job later once you get to Heaven Sword. You have Grit. And for Gunbreaker, which is the tank that I main, It's Royal Guard. Alright. Now, having on your tank stance, you want to have this on during your dungeon runs. Because if you don't have it on, then your teammates are going to get attacked, and that's not good. So, what do I want to go into next? This is one of the most important things to tanking. Now, there are instances where you'll have to off-tank, and essentially what that means is that there's more than one tank in the party, and having your stance on means you're gonna probably main tank, and then the other tank would have their thing off, right? So if you're gonna main tank, have it on. If you're gonna off tank, have it off. That's as simple as that. Now, aggro or ebony. When you attack an opponent, no matter what job you are, if you're healing, you'll generate enmity. Which, if I do that, right, you'll see I'm the only target, so I'm gonna have a red dot on my striking dummy here. That means that they're on me. Alright? Now another way to tell that is right up here. It says A, it shows my job symbol, it says A. When it's a letter, that means they're on you. If it's a number, then your party members are also targeting that target, but the aggro is on you. Alright? When you're playing as a tank, no matter how many... If you're the only tank, no matter how many enemies are here, you want those all to be red. So that way you know that all the enemies are targeting you. Okay? Now, those are some good general tanking tips there. The next thing, what else is important to tanking? Alright, so if you take a look at this ring here, this is what's called the aggro ring. And they actually updated it, but not the latest patch that's coming. There's a new patch coming out, but one of the latest patch added these two arrows here. So boom, boom, and then this one was already here. That is where the enemy is facing. So what you want is when you're positioning the enemy here, you want these arrows to be in front all the time. When you want them to be facing you, and then your party would be back here doing their attacks, right? So that way, you're facing the enemy towards you, and not towards the party, which they could get hit by something called cleaves, which are attacks that are meant for the tank, and yeah, all those aren't a good time. What are some other things to tanking? A whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, when you're tanking, you're the leader of the party. Okay, so that means you take the reins of guiding the group through whatever it is you need to guide them through. There's a whole bunch of other stuff too. Those are a lot of the general tips that go into tanking. Now, the reason I also wanted to talk about Warrior is because I think Warrior is the easiest tank to learn. Now, arguably, Paladin is probably the better tank out of the two starting ones, but Warrior is definitely the easiest one to learn. So, let's do this. So we're gonna reset the dummy. What I like to do to pull stuff is you have a ranged attack called Tomahawk for Warrior. All the tanks have a ranged attack, but the Warriors is called Tomahawk. You just boop, and now they're pulled, right? And if it wasn't a stationary enemy, they would come towards you. All right, so we do this, boom, we pull them in, Now, like the last guide, right? You want to have this on when you're targeting them. So now I'm auto attacking, right? And auto attacking is always a good thing. So now we're gonna go into our combo. Boom, boom, right? And then Storm's Path. Boom. So the basic combo, right? Now we do our Storm's Eye, and now we get buffed. So Storm's Eye, right? Increased damage dealt. Forever Beastgage, boom. Right. So let's go ahead and talk about all the abilities. Those are an important thing to do, right? So, a little bit of stuff here. So now, Heavy Swing, first move, you use it, bam. Maim is the combo action. So, like I said before, always use Heavy Swing before you use Maim. Alright, so that way you're getting the full potency. Now I didn't keep my other character, so I'm gonna just go through the warrior's abilities here so we can talk about it. Berserk or Inner Release. You put it on. This is what's called an off global cooldown. I'm going into like a whole bunch of stuff here, but so skills that are on cooldown, right? So your main combo actions. As you can see down there, there was a timer for all those moves, right? That's the global cooldown. You gotta wait for all those skills to refill, right? Now, off global cooldown are skills that are like what I just described, Inner Release or Berserk, right? You put those on, and now you have a window where all of your attacks are doing crit direct hits on Warrior. Now there's some added stuff with Inner Release that gives you more. Let's see, let's read it. So, Berserk just gives you crit direct hits. Inner Release goes into the Beastgage, and it nullifies Stun, Sleep, Bind, and Heavy, and most knockback effects. So when you're let's say the boss is about to stun everybody, you can turn on Inner Release and you're immune to it, which is actually pretty cool. But you won't get that until level 70. So once you reach, if you use a potion or if you do the story and get to level 70, boom, you have Inner Release. But there's that. Overpower is your first AoE move. So if there was multiple enemies here, I use this. It's a nice, big, wide cone, unlike the other tanks. So getting into the right position is not that hard, honestly. But use Overpower to get your boys, to get all the enemies to gather up. Okay, next move, Defiance. That's your stance to generate more aggro or enmity. You want that on at all times. If you're the only tank, boom, put that on. If you're gonna main tank, boom, put that on. Tomahawk, the range attack, like I talked about. Now, Storm's Path is a combo action after Maim, which I demonstrated earlier. It does a full combo, 420. It heals you for a little bit after you perform it. Nice way to not only do damage, but to get a little bit of survivability. And then it also raises your Beastgage once you unlock it. Thrill Battle, another off-global cooldown. So this raises your HP, heals you, and it lasts for, let's see, it was 15 seconds? 10 seconds. And so with that timer on, it just ran out, but with it on, not only does it give you more health, it heals you, and any healing that you receive is increased by 20% while Thrill of Battle's on. So it's super, super good. If you're ever in trouble, boom, toss on Thrill of Battle. Good time. Now, Vengeance. Vengeance is what I was talking about before in the other video. It's a spike. So, not only does it reduce the amount of damage you're taking, but when they deliver, let's read it. Reduces damage taken by 30% and delivers an attack with a potency of 55 every time you suffer physical damage. So for 15 seconds, you're taking less damage and you're giving it back. Giving a little bit back. Okay. Home Gang. Every tank has a move like this. This is called the I'm about to die move. I'm about to die, let's not do that. That's a bad time. Invulnerability, or whatever it's called. So, let's say my health is like at, I don't know, like a quarter. I use Home Gang, and as long as it's on, right, I won't die. And that's up to the healers to heal me, right? Or I can help them out by using Thrill of Battle or one of the other moves later. Right? So that's a good time. Storm's Eye. I went over this before again. It's the other move from Storm's Path. So Storm's Path gives you more Beast Gauge and it heals you. And Storm's Eye gives you less Heat Gauge, a Beast Gauge, but it gives you a buff that raises your damage by 10%. So those are the moves there. And that's what you'll get for Warrior. Or sorry, for Marauder. Now, you get all these moves as Warrior too, obviously, so going into the job. Now, this goes into Beast Gauge. Now, every time you land certain attacks, Maim will raise your Beast Gauge. Storm's Path will raise your Beast Gauge. All these moves are raising my Beast Gauge down here. Once you reach 50, now it's an upgraded version of Inner Beast, but Inner Beast just deals a large amount of damage, right? Mithril Tempest, don't use it on its own. It's a combo action after Overpower. Steel Cyclone is an AoE version of Inner Beast, so it hits multiple targets. Infuriate just gives you Beast Gauge. Okay, that's cool. Bell Cleave is the upgraded version of Inner Beast. Ron Tuition is it's another off global cooldown. Well, these are off global cooldowns too. This one's off global. That's on. This is off. Reduces damage taken by 20 for 6 seconds. So just while it's on, you take less damage. Equilibrium, just a free heal button. That's on global cooldown. Decimate, upgraded version of Steel Cyclone. Onslaught, once again, every tank has this. Close the gap. And I think Warriors has the largest gap closer. I can be pretty far away, boom, and use it. Upheaval, it's another Beast Gauge move. Requires 20, just deals a little bit of damage. 450. Shake It Off puts on a shield on your party. So it's probably a little hard to see, but if you see it right wherever a HP is, there's a little yellow bar. That's what the shield is. And sometimes you'll see big shields when you're playing with an Astro or playing with a Scholar. Shields are just nice to help mitigate some damage. And release, we talked about it. Flash shares a recast timer with raw intuition, but I use it. Any amount of damage I deal, I get a little portion of it back, which is pretty nice. Nice survivability tool. I can also target another party member with that, and they get healed too when I deal damage. And Chaotic Cyclone and Inner Chaos. These two are upgraded versions of Decimate for Chaotic Cyclone, and Inner Chaos is for Fellcleave. And demonstrate here. You have to have Nance and Chaos in order for them to actually be upgraded. So, boom, there's that. Alright, what else can I talk about here? Change the song. Sure. What else can I talk about here? Oh, right, roll actions. I think all of these are, yeah, all of these are on the global cooldown. Rampart decreases the amount of damage you take. Low blow stuns a target for 5 seconds. Provoke? Okay, provoke is interesting. So, if there's an enemy that is not targeting you, so if you run into an enemy where this red dot here is blue, or it's any other color than red, you can use Provoke to make it red. And then you can continue your combo and grab the aggro back. Now, most of the time, you don't have to worry about using Provoke, but it does happen. So just keep in mind, looking at the party list to grab aggro, right? Whenever it's needed. So most of the time, you don't need Provoke. It's only there, really, if, I don't know. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. I personally don't use Provoke all that much. But it is there. Interject is a magic version of Low Blow. So it'll just stop them from casting a spell or whatever. Reprisal reduces enemy damage, so it's an AoE around you. And this helps if you pair it with like Rampart or Raw Intuition or something. Nice and cool there. And all the tanks have these skills, by the way. The roll actions. Arm's length. Let's say the enemy or the boss or something's gonna knock you back. You put on arm's length and you stay where you were. Keeps you nice and grounded. It also has a spike effect, which slows down the target by 20% for 15 seconds if they end up hitting you. So that's a nice little thing to have. And Shirk. Let's say there's another tank around, or you want to be funny and Shirk one of your DPS. It confers all the amount of... Not all of it, but it... Oh, I was about to say, it's not even on my hotbar. No, it's right there. You target another party member with that, and you give them 25% of your aggro to them. Pretty nice when you want to give it to the other tank or whatever. Or, you just want to be a funny boy and give 25% aggro to your DPS or something. Don't do that, though. Don't do that. It'd be funny first time, but don't do it. Bad time. Okay, going into traits, these are just passive abilities that you unlock while you're leveling up. So, Tank Mastery, all the tanks have this. Reduces damage taken by 20, furthermore, grants bonus maximum HP, based on Vitality, and bonus damage dealt based on your strength. Pretty cool. And then most of them are just like, oh, they're upgrade or whatever. Yeah, that is all the abilities for warrior, and I think that's mostly all tanking stuff. I would do a demonstration, but honestly, if you're thinking about going into tanking, it's not bad at all. It can be very intimidating because, of course, you know, if you don't know the content, it's pretty intimidating when you're like, oh god, like what do I do? Just ask questions, right? Always ask questions, and always, if you're going into something new, just say in party chat, right? Click the little chat icon there, switch it to party. Whenever you enter something new, just say, "Hey, I'm new." And if you have any questions, just ask. All right, but that's gonna be my little guide. And like I said, if anything in the comments down below, just let me know. And hopefully, we'll be back with another thing. This was a little quick stream here to basically a YouTube video. That's all I wanted to do. Anyway, if you guys liked, make sure to leave a like and follow on YouTube, follow on Twitch, or follow on Twitch, sub on YouTube, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you for checking out the